ever dreamed about quitting your job and starting your own business, but something keeps holding you back? Maybe it's fear, maybe it's uncertainty, or maybe it's those scary stories and facts you keep hearing. Well, today I'm going to go ahead and bust the biggest myths that are out there about leaving your corporate job to start your own business. Some of these might surprise you, and by the end, you'll see what's truly possible for you, even if you're not sure where to start. So, for those of you guys who don't know, my name's Shanice Upshur, the corporate escapee, and I started my business really just to help people with, like you guys, with skills and these talents and experiences, leave the corporate world and build businesses that you actually love. And for me, when I was kind of going through this process, some of these same things kept popping up for me, right? There were these moments that I would think about what it would look like, and these fears and these myths kept popping up in my head. Maybe there were even times where I would start telling people what it was that I wanted to do, and people would throw out this fact or that fact. And I finally had to just really shut the noise down and focus on what it was that I wanted for myself, for my business, for my family, and ultimately for all the people that I serve. So today, like I said, going to talk about the three biggest ones that I feel have come up, not just for myself, but even now as I'm working with clients, the things that they're coming to me and saying like, hey, my mom said this, my best friend said this, my coworker said this, I saw this on Instagram, right? So if you've had a couple of these myths, thrown at you while you're starting to decide, is creating my own business right for me? Tune in. We're going to be talking about this and the reality behind these. So, myth number one, you need a ton of money to start, right? Like I heard that so much when I started this process. How much money do you have saved? Where's your income going to come from? What is that going to look like? Do I need to tap into my retirement savings? Do I need to, cash in my 401k? So things that people were asking me when I was looking to start a business, and things that even, new business owners are coming and asking me. This one probably pops up every single day. So, for me, when I started my business, and I don't have, a brick and mortar. So obviously it's going to be different if like you have a brick and mortar, or if you're selling tons and tons of physical products. But for me, what it was I bought a laptop, right? Like I didn't have, like I had a laptop, it was a little bit older. I bought a laptop and, some website hosting, and that was it, right? Like that was my initial startup cost for my business. It's been a little bit under a year now. The only thing that I added into that was I did get a new webcam. And if you look at this video compared to the first video that I ever put out, you'll see exactly what I mean, right? So laptop, webcam, website hosting, and that really was it. And I didn't have to go out there and, generate a ton of grant money. I didn't need to take out a ton of loans and all of that. And a lot of it is really just, starting where you're at and allowing things to grow as needed, right? So I just use my little bitty laptop camera initially when I started the YouTube channel, and then where I got to where I had some consistency under my belt, added in things as needed. So don't feel like you have to add in every single bell and whistle right away. Think about what are the things that you need to launch as quickly as possible, as effectively as possible, and then you can start adding and adjusting from there. And, thinking about this, here's the truth of the matter. There's so many successful businesses today that started with very little money. And I'm talking about, people who launch with just a laptop and internet connection, right? And I'm one of them. And again, with me, didn't start with a big budget, had the laptop, used a lot of free tools, a couple of paid ones, but a lot of free tools out there. Learned how to build the website myself, and I focused on offering services that didn't require a lot of upfront costs for me to put together and to put out there. And if you think about it, if you're a consultant, if you're a coach, or even a freelancer, you can start by offering your expertise to just one client. Like you don't need a fancy office, you don't need expensive equipment. And yes, it's nice and all of that, but allow that to come once you start getting those reps under your belt. Just focus initially on putting yourself in a position where you can get started, right? Don't let the money be what holds you back because you feel you need to have have, $50,000 to put together this amazing thing. Start with what you have and then allow what comes in from supporting your customers and supporting your clients to add and grow to your infrastructure and how you're set up. So, when you think about this, what does that look like? How can you go about that? My advice to you guys is make a list of the skills, the resources that you already have. What can you offer right now? And then what can you do with little to no extra cost? So, everything that I do now with my business is all around helping business entrepreneurs, grow and get started. But one of the things that I did initially, because I could do it right off the rip, was interview prep, right? I did so much stuff around interview prep because at that time, people were asking for it. I had so many people coming to me asking for assistance with interview prep. And that was the thing that I did really, really quickly to launch the business, to start bringing in income before I even added, in additional pieces. So, and another thing too, guys, like in today's world, there are so many free and low cost tools out there for marketing, scheduling, even accountability. So don't let that money myth stop you before you even begin. Now, the second thing that I get, and this one's kind of interesting. And this myth number two is like the fact that like you have to have the perfect idea. And here's the thing, like there's nothing that's perfect. It's always going to be something that instead of this idea being perfect, it's something that solves a big problem for a lot of people. So if you have this idea and you are able to say, hey, this person over here has this problem and I have a solution for it, at the end of the day, that's really what you need. Like you don't need to have, the most perfect, wonderful idea. You just need to have something that people will gravitate to, even if it's not everybody, right? If you get 50 people, 100 people, however many people that you need to stay consistent and to show growth in your business, that's the goal there, right? You hear people talk about niching down and focusing on their target audience. So as long as you understand who your target audience is and you have a solution to solve one of their problems, that's all that you have to have. And even within that, like there's going to be some refining, some tweaking that happens over time. You guys have heard me talk about this idea of like doing it scared, just getting out there and doing, even if you don't have every single part put together, because what you will find is you put something out there, you get feedback. Put something out there, you get feedback. Right? Our interaction with the marketplace should always be a continuous feedback loop because our clients, they're the ones who know what they need. So if you put together a offer, a product, you put it out there, you get people who purchase and you're getting feedback that say, what about this? What about this? Right? You can take that feedback and incorporate it into version 2, version 3, version 4, etc. of whatever that product or offer is. So don't let this idea of you have to have the perfect idea hold you back because that is so false, right? And it's easy to look at these successful entrepreneurs out there and say they must have had an amazing world-changing idea from day one. But here's what most people don't realize. Like most successful businesses, they don't start with the perfect idea. They started with a simple solution to a problem, right? So we just talked about that and they improved it over time. The only way to get that feedback is to put it out there. So even if you're scared, even if you feel there may be a piece or two that's missing, put that idea out there, get the feedback, refine, and that's how you get to the space of a perfect idea. You don't create your perfect idea in a bubble, in a think tank, in a room by yourself with your whiteboard. Like that perfect idea comes by putting a simple idea out there, getting the feedback and going through that iteration again and again and again until you hit that moment of perfection. So I was working with a client the other day and they wanted to start a business but they felt stuck because they felt like they didn't have this like big idea. And so I asked this client, I said, like, what problems do people come to you with at work? And this person realized like people always come to me to help with project management, with organization. And this person started offering some simple workshops on these topics and people are loving them. So again, it wasn't that this person sat down and put together, this 10-step thing and did this huge event and all of that. It was these small workshops where she just got the buy-in and she's getting the feedback, she's getting to tweak and is starting to turn that simple idea into that perfect idea that we talked about. So that business has really been growing based on the feedback and refining the offers based on what the clients are needing. So why do I bring that up? And for you guys, like, I really want to, drill it home the fact that you don't have to wait for lightning to strike, right? Like, start with what you know, start with what people are already asking you for help with. And your first idea doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to solve a real problem for someone. And then use that refining process to find that perfection for you. All right. So the third myth that I run into, and again, I got this question asked to me when I was getting ready to go into business for myself, and I have clients that come to me with this as well. And it's this idea of, is this risky, right? It's too risky. Most businesses fail. People love to throw out, stats around small businesses and entrepreneurship and, how many are still around after 5 years and 10 years and all of those things. And, you'll hear statistics like most small businesses fail in the first year. And honestly, like, that's enough to scare a lot of people. I can't laugh on that one. But when you stop and you like really think about it, look a little bit deeper. Yes, starting a business has risks, but so does staying in a job that doesn't value you or make you happy. And you really have to think like, okay, I get to choose my scared, so to speak. I get to choose my risk. Where do I want that risk to lie? And honestly, the people who succeed, they're not always the ones with the best idea or the most money. They're the ones who plan, learn, and adapt, right? So, even with me, as I go through this journey, it's okay, I take the time to plan, I take that time to learn, and then adapt. Very much like that feedback loop that I just kind of talked about with creating those perfect products. And when you approach your business with a strategy, right, testing your idea, talking to potential clients, learning as you go, you greatly increase your chance of success. So, I don't think anybody's going to ever guarantee you that success is going to be 100%. But again, you're not going to get that even in the corporate world where you know for 100% certainty that you're never going to get fired. The business won't change. The business won't go under. But you really have to say, what are the things that I can do to maximize my success and make sure that you're tapping into discipline. Maybe I'll do one on discipline. Tapping into discipline and really focusing in on that in order to make sure you're maximizing your chances, increasing your odds, so to speak. What's the other phrase that they use? Stacking the deck in your favor. There you go. Stacking the deck in your favor as you go through this process. And here's the thing, you don't have to do this alone. Like, there's communities, there's mentors, there's programs designed to help you every step of the way. So make sure that you're getting plugged in wherever it makes sense for you, so that you have the support system, this accountability as you go about. And remember, even if your first attempt doesn't go perfectly, you'll learn valuable lessons that you can use to make your next try even stronger. And the biggest risk is never trying at all. And, I've told you guys before how when I was trying to decide whether this is the right path for me, and I kind of had to stop and say, all right, if I project myself into the future and I'm 60 years old and I'm thinking about, my past life experiences, how am I going to feel if I never gave this a try? And it was like, I felt in that moment, I was like, I would be so disappointed in myself that I didn't at least try. So if you are feeling like that, do not let these myths distract you, detract you, or, just ruin your thought process, derail you even. So just lean into the things that you can do. Lean into your ability to create amazing solutions for the people that you serve. And I'm so excited for all of the things that you guys come up with and how you impact your communities and the world. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys all later.